There was a meeting last week and a lot of pretty good attendance at the field library about the old White Plains linen site.
Right.
And former Mayor Mary Foster, at the end of the meeting, she brought up the possibility of demolition for, I think she was talking about all the buildings. And she said that that was talk going on at City Hall. And the whole meeting with consultants had been, what should we put in the existing buildings? And there were a lot of people that said, hey, we want some mixed use, residential, loft style, artists, all the stuff that you're talking about. But when she brought up the possibility of demolition, a lot of people in the room kind of gasped. So I wanted to ask you, is that something that is a possibility in your mind for the site?
Well, the city doesn't control whether it gets demolished or not. First of all, the city spent $125,000 to tell a private property owner what's the best use for his property.
So you don't agree with the whole process?
I don't agree with wasting taxpayer money, and that's what I said. No studies, no consultants, no outside counsels for litigation, and no lawsuits. That money for that study was approved before I took office, and it came in, and I said, don't spend the money. Use it for something else. But White Plains Linen is owned by a private company.
Right.
They had, as part of their development down on John Walsh Boulevard, had offered the IDA, an arm of the city, but not the city. They offered them the option to own that property for $1.
Right.
And all of those people on that IDA, every single one of them were Foster appointees, except for, I think, one that came in during my administration. Unanimously, they said no. Why did they say no? I think we have to ask them why. But the city does not have the option anymore, and the city did not exercise, the city through the IDA did not exercise that option when it was available. Yet the Common Council, blindly, in my opinion, and foolishly, spent $125,000. It's just like everything else with Mary Foster and Kathy Talbot and Vivian McKenzie. It's pie in the sky. This would be great. You know, what would be great? Wouldn't that be great to have an ice cream stand there? Wouldn't it be great to have, you know, cotton candy on the corner? But it's just not reality, and you're not going to get a private investor to go in there. The private property owner is applying for a demolition permit because he can't maintain. I would predict that you're never going to see those properties developed. If the city took ownership of that property, it would be just like it is now, probably for the next 20 years.
There's no parking.
There's no parking.
I can't.
I don't have a view.
There's no place to park. I tell you this because of the.
That property should stay on the tax rolls for what it is.
Because they're paying taxes.
They're paying $40,000 a year in taxes.
But they're not going to want to do that forever.
Well, no, and he's going to want to either demolish it and put it over to a private developer who can come in there. It's a residential area. You could build brownstones in there. There's one developer who
make law.
Was talking about brownstones, but those walls are about this,
dry clean.
Those walls are like 24 inches thick of concrete. You cannot rehab that building.
The consultants did a market analysis, and they're
for $125,000. They can do all the studies they want.
And they got a lot of their stuff from the census, which isn't perfect, of course. But there was kind of a thought at that meeting that more residential, with all this residential stuff coming in, you might have empty residential space after a while.
Well, I don't think so. I think because Peekskill is very attractive, it's low in cost, and the taxes are low. But listen, I don't have a horse in the race. If somebody wants to go in there and develop that for residential or artist loft use or whatever, but you have groups down here in Peekskill, like the Peekskill Arts Alliance, that just wanted to have an art museum, or the Embark. They want to have it so they can have a place for their shows. But these are not.
We're down to closing minutes.
These are not realistic proposals.
You're one council member short.